Hey, this is Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling with Platinum versus AEW Dark. This was from March 2nd, 2021. We're nearing the time. We'll only have one more Dark show, presumably of this length. And I am all for it. I can't wait. We're looking at 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now, and then AEW Dark will be divided into two shows. One that I think will feature more new people, and the other that will be more advancing people who are already kind of part of Dynamite and things like that. I'm all for it. I think that's a great adjustment. Kudos to Tony Khan and the others who made this decision. I think it'll make it for a much more enjoyable viewing experience. Because I got to say, as much as I love Dark, and I've been covering it since the beginning, I'm probably the only person who's been covering it since the beginning. I just find that the length of it is just hard to focus. And then, I'm also doing Impact, which is something I'm choosing to do, of course, but it's just a lot. It's just a lot. We got -1 is back, so that's cool. It's Tuesday, and let's just jump into it. Again, I grade these matches on a 3-check scale. The first check is if the proper people go over in a convincing fashion and memorable fashion. A second check mark if they're made to look very good in the process, and then a third check mark if the losing faction or person looks good in the process or is given significant offense by the people that are beating them. And for competitive matches, of which there wasn't really one on this show, 3 checks as well. A check mark if the match works, a second check mark if team wins in decisive fashion, and then a third check mark if something, even if it's just a slight character thing or a change in a finisher or something, is advanced successfully and that can be used on Dynamite, or even if an angle begins to form, because sometimes Dark does that as well. And I would imagine if the Monday AEW Dark show becomes the sort of showcase for new people, that Dark will be filled with stuff that actually gets advanced on Dynamite and things like that. And I'm looking forward to that, like I said before. Lee Johnson and Aaron Solo, who are both in the Nightmare family. My God, the Nightmare family is humongous. They defeated Lou Vale and Chris Peaks. Match went about 5 minutes. Go-Go was on commentary, even though he wasn't at the desk at the opening. Of course, you have Excalibur and Taz. Solo is having a tough time, but has a good look out here. So the Blue Thunder Bomb looked really, really good. Lee Johnson's doing his thing. Definite 3 check marks here. They did some mat wrestling in the opening that I really like. Solo is definitely sort of the least important member of the Nightmare family as of right now. No doubt about that. Next match, Red Velvet and Kylan King. Of course, I'm thrilled to see that team against Ivelisse and Dynamite. This match went really long, in my opinion, 7 minutes, and I get it. Ivelisse and Diamante, they're the winner of the first Women's Tag Team Cup and all that stuff. This was supposed to be an exhibition for Red Velvet. She looked all right. This didn't give me hope that her and Jade would really be able to hold up their end. But the big surprise in this one, of course, or the big mystery in this is how is Jade going to be? I suspect pretty good because I know who trained her. This match was okay. I'll give it 2 check marks. I guess 3. Red Velvet and Kylan King did win in a kind of convincing fashion. Looked pretty good in the process. Kylan King did a really good job. Red Velvet hopefully was up for the thing with Jade. And Ivelisse and Diamante, this was a competitive match, and so a 3rd check mark because obviously this was all about advancing Red Velvet's cause for the big match tonight on Dynamite. So yeah, 3 check marks. And we've had 4 shows that have had 3 check marks, by the way. Top Flight defeated Fuego de Sol and John Cruz in another 5-minute match. Top Flight's finish looked pretty good here, as flipping into a bulldog. Go-Go called it the icebreaker, which is interesting. The Darius hitting the Spanish Fly on Cruz was a highlight, though. At first, it didn't look like he hit it clean, but he did. Top Flight can tend to be very sloppy, but you got John Cruz, who's one of the best developmental guys or one of the best enhancement guys that they have, and Fuego del Sol always does a pretty good job as well. So 3 check marks all around. Gun Club defeated Tony Vega, Aaron Fry in Angel fashion. That 310 to Yuma finisher is pretty good. So the Gun Club is also part of the Nightmare family. And the weird thing of Billy grabbing at referee Aubrey Edwards was really strange. They cut away from it. For that reason, I mean, they hit their finisher, so they get the first check mark. I'm not going to give them that second check mark, because I just think that whole thing came across really, really weird. And the guys did a passable job working with the Gun Club. But this is my least favorite thing that the Gun Club has done. I didn't like it at all. So I'm just going to give it 1 check mark. Abaddon and Renee Michelle. Renee Michelle did a really great job sort of being scared, putting it over. I still hate that Widow's Peak finisher. I hated it. I hate that finisher for Abaddon. She's short. It doesn't look good. Renee Michelle has made it look better than just about anybody else, though. And high marks for Renee Michelle, who may be my enhancement performer of the week. We shall see. 3 check marks, though. Abaddon made it look strong, strong, strong. And AEW keeps up their tradition of when somebody suffers a big loss on the main show, they tend to let them cool off a little bit and you forget about it, and then they bring them back strong. It's a very smart, basic thing that AEW does, which they can do because they have an incredibly large roster. Next match, Dark Order Stu Grayson defeated JD Drake. JD Drake looked even better in this match than he did against Eddie Kingston. It's great look. Really, really good action at the end. Stu Grayson hit that backbreaker, which was super impressive. JD Drake is definitely working his way into a job, and good for fucking him. The next segment was the Acclaim Shopping Network and frickin' rapping about 10, and it's one of my favorite things the Acclaimed has done. I know people hate the Acclaimed, but they shouldn't, because it's fucking great, and they're working the heel thing, and it's really good. The fucking chorus, the guy named 10 can't draw a dime with his 10-cent brain and his $10 body, who loves the Acclaimed, everybody. It's fucking great. Next one, fucking 3 check marks for that segment. Fuck it. Bear Country defeated Mbadu and Baron Black. Mbadu and Baron Black looked a little choppy here, especially Mbadu. That jumping clothesline thing looked really awkward. Baron Black does a very good job, and this was no exception. Lately, he's been super great. This one, he's passably good. Bear Country looked phenomenal here, so of course the first check mark and the second check mark, but not the third one to me. Yeah. And then Butcher and Blade and Bunny attack. So highlighting their feud. And that beatdown is brutal. Butcher, Blade, and Bunny definitely know how to do that. Dark Order, in this case, Evil Uno, Allen Angels, number 5, and Colt Cabana with -1 defeated Levi Shapiro, John Skyler, and Ryzen. Ryzen always has his work boots on. It's great to see John Skyler again. Really good stuff. And after the match, number 1, -1 kicked Ryzen out of the ring. Really silly stuff. Ryzen got that blind tag and just gets destroyed by the Dark Order for the finish. So, good stuff, kind of silly stuff. I'll give it 3 check marks anyway. Mark Castor of the Acclaimed defeated JJ Garrett. Looked really strong doing it. That top rope elbow is a little wonky to me, but his brain buster is one of my favorite in wrestling. I got to say, Mark Castor, definitely impressing, definitely setting up the fact that he's going to wrestle 10 and it's going to be a big deal. Great job, JJ Garrett. 3 check marks all around. JJ Garrett and his freaking 90s jobber look is hysterical to me. Next, the Hybrid 2 against Shawn Dean and Carly Bravo. Shawn Dean, again, just so good. I mean, his drop kicks were great. He took the hot tag, and I mean, the clotheslines was good. were good. The enziguri was good, but those drop kicks and the DDT looked really, really, really great. Good stuff. The Navarro death roll, though, got the on Dean, and then Dean taps out. But Dean taking back his title as the best enhancement guy. 3 check marks all around, and the hybrid 2 again being built back up, which is good to see. Orange Cassidy with Chuck Taylor against Steven Stetson. Super, super quick match. Stetson did not look good here. His offense looked really, really weak. Orange Cassidy, though, looked really great, so we're going to give this 2 check marks. Chuck Taylor against VSK. It's kind of awkward that Aubrey Edwards called for the bell before VSK got introduced. It was a little odd, but workman-like match. It was weird that VSK was kicking out of big moves by Chuck Taylor at one point, but Chuck Taylor managed to get the win. I'll give this one 3 check marks with an asterisk for sure. Dark Order's 10, who's going to go on to face Max Caster of the Acclaimed tonight on Dynamite, defeated Daniel Joseph in frickin' definitive fashion. And -1 on commentary here, was ridiculous. So 10 and Caster is going to be whoever wins that is going to be in the ladder match. That's big time. So Spine Buster and a Deadlift Power Bomb won the match for 10. I'll give it 3 check marks. And then finally SCU against the Seidel brothers. This is a competitive match, so the standards are a little different. And these guys are all total pros. I'm a big fan of Mike Seidel in particular. Really, really good. So, and again, we have the story here of Kazarian doing the lion's share of the work for SCU, because again, if they lose, they have to split up, and Daniels just hasn't caught up. But maybe they're saving that for when they actually have a match where they're truly in peril. Good stuff here from Dark. Again, next week will be the last one where we have a show of this length, and so I'm all for that. Anyway, this has been Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling, with Platinum versus AEW Dark.